Hey there, welcome back. It's time for the 31 days of Halloween. All this month in October. 31 horror movies. 32. We're doing a horror movie a day throughout the month of October. Joining a bunch of other cats on Twitter. We're celebrating Halloween and the Halloween season by watching a horror movie a day leading up to Halloween. Tonight... Welcome to Fright Night. For real. It's 1985's vampire classic, Fright Night, with Chris Sarandon and Roddy McDowall. Roddy McDowall is a very famous British character actor. Did a lot of roles, like, he was in Planet of the Apes. His brother Malcolm, you might know as well. He plays a lot of bad guys. Yeah, this real balance with the McDowell brothers. But this movie was released on August 2nd of 1985. I was 12 years old, and I saw this at the movie theater. And this was a rated R movie, so I got hey, my dad got me on Saturdays, and he would take me to any movie I wanted. It was a great arrangement. I get McDonald's, go to a movie, I get to hang out with my dad too, which was pretty cool. And but also between 12 and 13, this was on cable a lot, so I ended up watching this movie over and over and over again on HBO. And when it was in its proper rotation. Fright Night. Also, Chris Sarandon is he was Lord Humperdinck in Princess Bride, and that's where you might remember him from also, which was made shortly after this. His sister Susan was featured earlier in this very series in The Hunger, in her own vampire movie. So there's vampire movies running the family. In a way. Roddy McDowall's great in this. He plays a washed up B movie actor. He looks like he's out of a Hammer movie theater, out of a Hammer movie. We just finished this series on Hammer movies. So if you can imagine Roddy McDowall as like a washed up Peter Cushing, and now he's the host of the late night horror movies, and I am Peter Vincent, and this is Fright Night, and he is the host of the late night horror movie, and it was an old TV staple, the late night horror movie, and you would have a host. We had Creature Feature and Creature Double Feature, and notably we had Son of Svengoolie. I'm pretty sure, he would come out of the coffin. He would be dressed in goth or macabre kind of garb. There would be trappings of skeletons and bats in the background, and it was campy, and it was over the top, and it was cute, and it was fun. And this movie, I hope it's suitable to be playing behind. It's a rated R movie, so I'll try my best to cover with any boobs or any nudity, and I play it at 10 times speed, to avoid ye old copyright strike. But yeah, it's Fright Night. Really impressive stop motion and monsters and special effects, practical special effects, makeup, making vampires work on a big screen. We begin with Charlie Brewster making out with his girlfriend on the floor, and by the end of the movie they graduate to the bed. It's cute. It's a nice bookend to the movie. This is a pretty simple movie. I loved it. It's got 106 minutes of running time. That's just over an hour and a half. 3 succinct acts. I love that in a movie. Just simple, old-fashioned storytelling. And what happens in this movie? Well, Charlie Brewster and a single mom here, they get a new neighbor. And off the bat, Charlie is suspecting his new neighbor of being a vampire. And he's right. And everyone comes very slowly over 3 acts to believe him and also become his team to go defeat the vampire. And he enlists the help of Roddy McDowall, who he's trying to convince. He's like, what, you don't believe vampires are real? He's like, kid, I'm an actor. You know? And, yeah, and so the dead bodies start popping up all over town. And Charlie keeps thinking that, oh my goodness, my neighbor's a vampire. This is a really good movie. It was remade in 2011 with Colin Farrell. I didn't see that one. I didn't see the point in it. It was already done right the first time. Amanda Bierce plays the love interest in this. Yeah, Jerry Dandridge is the next door neighbor. And he has the lack of reflection. You know, he's got this handyman, Jerry does, and he's like the Renfield, you know, like the supercharged human who's in thrall. There's some definite gay coding going on in that relationship between the handyman and the next door neighbor there. Yeah, he's the live-in handyman. Yeah, so Amy Peterson. This is great because it shows this actor's acting chops, that Amanda Bierce plays this great, innocent, you know, girl. This high school girl. And by Act 3, she's been turned into a vampire. And she turns on this, like, you know, raw sensuality. This, like, it's a really awesome. And it was a really well acted. And I loved all the individual roles in here. And especially Evil Ed, the best friend who gets turned into a vampire as well. And I just remember I hadn't seen this in decades. You know, you're so cool, Brewster. You know, quoting a movie that you haven't seen in decades when the line is given. I mean, that's just like, it was good to watch this. It's like hanging out with an old friend. And yeah, so poor Brewster here. And he loses his best friend. He almost loses his girlfriend. And but by the end, all is well. And the girlfriend gets turned back into a human. And right here, Peter Vincent, he's lost his job. So by the end of it, he's got his movie gig back. And it's just a cute movie. It's set up and payoff. It's just a simple story told. And it shows just really awesome trappings of the vampires. Being scared of holy water and crucifixes. And it really nails the whole thing when Peter Vincent is holding the crucifix in front of him. And Chris Sarandon laughs and he says, you have to have faith in it to work. And I mean, yeah, it just, there's the whole latent Christianity involved with the vampire trope anyway. So I'm hoping, like, you know, you could hold up a Mogan David, and you could hold up, you know, you know, the name of Allah written in Islamic, you know, or in Arabic rather. Maybe that would ward off a vampire too, you know, because every world culture has its vampire myth. It really does. Yes, look at the seduction scene between Jerry and Amy. It's like he's like, then a little later on, he gets to sink his fangs into her. You know, it's this nightclub scene that they get to, like, it's this long seduction scene. He's like stealing the girlfriend away from Charlie, and I don't know. This was a really fun movie. Had a lot of fun watching it. It's very nostalgic, but also it's just the most striking part has to have been the individual roles by the cast. Everyone nailed their roles. You know, this. Yeah, I think it's better than Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I mean, everyone's nailing their roles in this movie, and this is just great. Yeah. Aw, poor Ed. Aw. But there are victims everywhere, and so this is like, he's like Lucy, and Amy's like Mina. Both get bit, one turns into a vampire and the other one gets saved. So it's keeping these traditional, Dracula-esque story beats. And we have a Van Helsing, and we have the young hero like the Dr. Seward or Arthur Holmwood, and Charlie Brewster. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment section. I'm having a really good time talking about vampire movies. It is October the 19th, and we are on our 19th day of Halloween. We're got one more vampire movie to go. Actually, no, two more vampire movies to go in our series. Been talking a lot about vampires, vampire movies, vampire myth, legend, lore, history, and it's been a really good ride. I'm having fun, especially talking about movies as well. This was a really interesting movie. It's nostalgic, and that's Act 2. I mean, this is the Nadir, and yeah, we got two more vampire movies in this series. We're gonna end the month actually with 4 in a row. Yeah, 4 vampire movies are coming up in the last week as well. So we have 18 vampire movies all together in the 31 days of Halloween for this year. We really do. And I'm also putting together next year's pile already and taking suggestions. So leave a suggestion. There are some horror movies I won't watch. Like Hostel. I'll never want to watch a Hostel movie again. I don't do Saw. I don't do Purge movies. Not my bag. But I mean, I might do the Reanimator trilogy from the 80s if I can get From Beyond. Those movies have amazing practical effects and gruesome body horror, and it's great of its age too. So, but the next 2 movies we're going to be doing tomorrow, we'll be doing 1995's From Dusk Till Dawn, based on it's a screenplay by Quentin Tarantino and starring Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez. This was a really, really awesome vampire movie. We've got a great cast: George Clooney, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis, Cheech Marin plays 3 different roles. We got Danny Trejo. It's just a really... Tom Savini. Talk about effects. Tom Savini was this master of special effects, and he has beyond a cameo. He's got a full-blown role in this. We'll talk about Tom Savini tomorrow and save that for that show. And we'll be doing on the 21st, 1992's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie. That is so fun. It is so good. And it also stars 2 future two-time Oscar winners in Hilary Swank and an uncredited Ben Affleck, which was one of his first Hollywood roles. Great cast. I mean, Rutger Hauer's in it. Donald Sutherland, Paul Rubens, Stephen Root, Luke Perry, Christy Swanson. It's just a really awesome cast. Music by Carter Burwell, written by Joss Whedon. Yeah, and this is 5 years before the Buffy show even took off. So it's the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's going to wrap up our series on vampires. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Tonight has been the 19th day of Halloween, and we are watching Fright Night, the original 1985 Fright Night. This is a really good movie. It stands up. It stands the test of time. It's a really good horror movie, a really good vampire movie, and it has spectacular practical special effects. This is before CGI, and when this was the tools of the trade, and horror movies, you had just this great sense of special effects and pushing gore, pushing gruesome, and the grotesque. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I make daily content. We're doing this all month long, a horror movie a day. You can check out the playlist below. And it's the 31 days of Halloween. What are your picks? Let us know here in the comment section or on Twitter, and let us know. I am putting together a list for next year, and I'm taking suggestions. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been Fright Night. What a good horror movie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.